So, welcome to another cooking video from the Pakora Explorer, aka Chantal. We are in week 6 of lockdown, and so I am bringing you some cooking demonstrations from my house on the south side of Glasgow. I'm living by myself, so I don't have anyone to move the camera for me, so hopefully you'll bear with me in terms of camera angles. But we'll still be able to create something really special in this kitchen. Throughout this lockdown period, we've been bringing you different family recipes, but really just a chance to show you all the wonderful things that you can create using our family of spice blends that we have. So we have 5 spice blends in our collection. All of them are available to purchase online if you would like to, so just visit www.pakoraexplorer.co.uk to get your hands on your set now, and then all you have to do is get cooking. So tonight's menu is going to be our mince stuffed peppers, or keema stuffed peppers, so keema meaning mince in Urdu. And what we're going to do is we're going to really spend a lot of time flavouring the mince quite in a traditional kind of Indian style way, so the classic flavours of garlic and ginger, but in particular the hero of the hour is going to be my mum's, my grandmother's garam masala recipe that she passed to my mum and my mum passed to me. The smell on this garam masala is just something else, and mainly because we take the whole spices and we roast them and we grind them fresh every week ourselves, so you're getting the most of the flavour and obviously of the aroma, and that's really going to make an impact to the dish. In terms of what I'm serving it with, well, in a previous video I made my quinoa with vegetable medley, and so that's going to be my dinner because I made it yesterday. So I'm going to be serving my keema stuffed peppers with my quinoa vegetable medley. So lots of veg in there, and it's just something quite nice and quite light. It's a beautiful day here in Glasgow, the sun is shining, and I didn't really feel like anything heavy. So let's get cooking. So let me walk you through the ingredients for our keema stuffed peppers. Of course, we are going to need our beef mince, and I think by now it's a standing joke at the fact that I don't have very nice bowls when I'm displaying these, but these lovely colourful ones will have to do. So this is 500 grams of beef mince, and in case you're wondering why I've got so much, well, it's because I'm going to use some of that for my dinner the next day. It's not because I eat a lot of food. I'm going to use red onion, but of course white onion will do just as nicely. Our lovely typical classic Indian flavours of ginger and garlic as well. We are going to use some lemon because I think anyone who's watched any of my previous videos knows how much I love that kind of tang of the citrus flavour. And of course we've got some fresh coriander, and I'm just thinking about a couple of my friends who don't like coriander. You can leave this out if you're not keen, or of course maybe try parsley as well. Parsley will give it a slightly different flavour, but it gives you a really nice crunch in there, and it will still give a nice flavour. And of course we have our selection of peppers. Now what I've done is, because as I said I made a video yesterday, so this is what I'm doing with my leftovers, is the green pepper I didn't use yesterday, so I've just taken out the inside and cleaned that out. But you can still use these wee half chunks of peppers as well, and I'll show you how when we do it, that you'll still be able to stuff them as well, and they'll still be just as good. And of course, as I said, the main spice that we're going to use out of my blends is our garam masala. It's got all the flavour, it gives you a little bit of heat as well, it's got a little bit of warmth. You shouldn't need to add anything else in, however, what you can add is you can add obviously some chilli powder, so for those of you who like it spicy, whereas I don't, either some chilli powder or of course fresh green chilies or red chilies in this would be really nice, but of course add the heat to your taste, and I always say add a little, you can always add more as you're eating if you're looking for a little bit more flavour. So what I've done is I have my mince here, and I am just going to put a tiny bit of oil into my mince. Now this is just vegetable oil, just a very, very small amount, because it's just going to help that when that's browning. I'm adding all of my red onion. And then of course I'm adding my ginger. Now one thing I would say about the ginger is I've chopped it quite finely. Of course if you want to chop it even more fine, that's absolutely fine, or of course if you want to have it chunky, that's also okay. What I would say is when you are biting into your ginger, it gives you a really nice warmth flavour and can sometimes be quite nippy on the tongue, which is also good. So if you're a bit of a non-thrill seeker like me who doesn't like spicy food, ginger actually helps give me a really nice warmth when I'm having that in the dish. So I've also then put in my garlic as well.
Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in, I actually want, for this 500 grams, I actually want about a tablespoon of garam masala. So I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of garam masala, and you'll see there how well that's kind of coated everything. It just smells heavenly. And I'm also going to put my squeeze of lemon in now. Of course, again, if you wish to use lime, that's absolutely fine. Again, it's food the way you like it. Just make sure there wasn't a seed in there. And then I'm popping in my coriander as well. Nice and chopped. Again, you could just roughly chop the coriander. If you want to have it finely chopped, it's up to yourself. I quite like it quite chunky and rough, and I love including the stems because when you bite into that, you get a real hit of flavour. Now what we're going to do is it's time to get dirty, and we're just going to get in there with our hands and really mix it up. Now at this point, if you don't like your hands getting dirty, because anybody who knows me knows that I wash my hands a lot, and that was even before coronavirus happened, if you want, you can of course just get in there with a spoon and mix it up, but with something like this you really want to get your hands in there quite nicely. So once that's all mixed, which literally only took a couple of minutes, you'll just have a kind of medley there going on. You've got the green colour, the red onions, and of course the spices in there as well. So now that the mince is all blended together nicely, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my peppers and I'm going to pop them onto my baking tray, and it just takes a little bit of careful manoeuvring. And I'm just going to take a little bit more vegetable oil just on a brush like this, and I'm actually just going to brush the outside of my peppers just because I want that to get a really nice flavour and cook really nicely. I'm not doing anything on the inside, and it is literally just a little bit that I'm putting on, and I'm doing that on all the peppers, even some of these odd shapes that I'm doing, because we'll still be able to stuff them. So just pop the oil all the way around so they're covered like that, and now we're going to stuff them. So what I would also say is make sure you have your oven preheating as well, so that you can put the peppers in when they're nice and hot. Again, I think a standing joke is that I cook everything at 200 degrees for some obscure reason. I don't know why, I just do, but it works, and that's what I've got happening now. So it's my oven is heating up to 200 degrees. So what you're going to do is just take your mince using a spoon or of course your hand, which is absolutely fine to do, and just stuff it there with the mince. Of course it's a bit slippery because I've got oil on the outside, and again, even these bits and pieces here that you've got here, just make sure you stuff them as well. Oh man, I really wish somebody would invent smell-o-vision, because it just smells so good here right now. Okay, so I'm just going to stuff them. This is where sometimes using your hand is much better, because it just stays in there. And again, even this one here, which isn't a full sort of pepper and it's not closed, just take it into your hand, and the little grooves and sort of crevices that it has, just stuff it in there, get right in there with your spoon, of course your hand, and there you go, nice and stuffed. And again, I'm going to do the same. This is actually really ideal because you've got these little bits here that you can just stuff your keema into. So again, pop that in there. Oh, get it in there, come on, stuff you in there. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the oven, and that's probably going to cook somewhere in the region of about 20-25 minutes, but what we're going to do is we're going to keep checking it as we go. So let's get this in the oven. So the peppers have been in the oven for about 20 minutes now, and what I'm going to do is it's all nicely cooked, so I'm just going to take them out so you can have a wee look. Watch out, it's very hot. Okay, and so here we have, look how good that looks, and it smells delicious. So a couple of things that you're going to notice here is obviously the mince is actually shrunk, so that's obviously something to be aware of when you're cooking that. And of course, depending which mince you're using and obviously how much fat you've got in there, there will obviously be some fat that comes out of the mince. Now, if you don't like that, there's a couple of things you can do to change that. So first of all, you can drain halfway through when you're cooking, so you can obviously drain out some of the oil. Alternatively, you could have pre-cooked the mince just to get rid of any of that excess fat. The other thing is use a mince with a less fat. So I think I was 20% fat there, but that's just how I like my food, because actually I can use that fat when I'm then making another dish, because all that flavour and the spice and things are all still in there. So it really does come down to personal preference. All that's left for me to do now is dish up my keema stuffed peppers, which was made using my garam masala, onto my plate, and as I said, I'm going to serve it with my quinoa and vegetable medley. This would be great on its own or even with some rice, a really healthy dish for you. So I hope you enjoy. Any questions, please let me know, and remember, if you'd like to purchase any of the spices, please visit www.picorexplorer.co.uk. See you next time!